Hey everybody, it's May 31st. Welcome to the OPM show for other people's money. So Kevin has returned for another episode, and Jesse may join us. He's doing some stuff with his kids right now. Just to guys give you guys a lot of updates on the crypto, some of the crypto stuff we've talked about today with Luna, Wonderland, Quadriga, but we'll go into a little bit of the private money world first. We're getting ready to launch through an investment bank for private money holdings, which is our company. We're going to be launching it's going to take about 3.5 to 4 months to complete a rather sizable capital raise for three components plus dry powder, real estate, and our osmium and mining, and some other verticals. So this is going to be a rather extensive and capital raise. And we're not going to disclose the investment bank at the time, but just for everybody viewing this recording and this episode, there's a lot of stuff going on in the private money world in real estate and stuff. The real estate moratoriums have been lifted pretty much, and we didn't take that much of a hit, really. So I think we're going to be able to come back, and even with interest rates rising, we should be good to be able to help people, our membership, and then as well as our other interests. We are going to be doing osmium. So next week we'll be doing an osmium focused episode where Kevin will break down the osmium and how valuable it is and what a great investment opportunity it is and how to get involved with us, which actually you don't have to pay a cent. So that's a good thing. We'll go into that more next week. But Kevin, what else are you seeing right now in the money world as far as economy? Following your sources.
Well, we're definitely entering a transition phase, and this is global. It's not just here in the United States as far as the fiat money system is concerned. Um, this thing with crypto, and it's beginning to merge a little bit. It's becoming it's getting upset because they tied it to the United States dollar treasury. That's the treasury bonds. You all know what's going on with that. The Fed bought a bunch. They're probably going to have to sell some out, along with the inflationary stuff. It's not as good of a stable platform for them to be in. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to take it out completely, but they're going to have to look at something else that's going to be a lot more stable. That's the word stable coin, to peg it to. We have a possibility on and we're looking to try to figure out if we have a match for that. But there was 44 countries, Latin American, Africa, the developing nations that got together this last week to adopt Bitcoin as their currency block. So much for the IMF. The IMF would love to go in there, lend them money, control freak them to death, and just basically puppetize them, and they're not going to do that anymore. So there is as long as you have that kind of activity going on, it's not going to crash. But how it's going to affect everybody else has yet to be seen, but I figure that's going to wash out in the next 12 to 24 months, because it's not going to last a whole lot of time before this thing completely falls apart. The fiat system, they're trying to figure out how to interact and parallel. Kristalina Georgievna at the Davos conference had mentioned the fact that we're going to have to learn how to parallel or pull up alongside with the crypto world and be able to interact with it. This is no way of getting around it. Europe is heading long into a depression. They've made a number of mistakes, taking for granted that they can do what they thought they could do, only to find out they don't have the infrastructure anymore. They bit off more than they could chew as far as the green stuff is concerned. Nothing wrong with them doing what they want to do, but they got to be practical about it. So they're a little exposed. Here in the United States, we are as well. Basically, we're going to be sending most of our natural gas and oil over to cover their shortages. So what's that do with us? Well, we're $5 a gallon, $7 a gallon. Okay, well, that's gasoline. What are we going to do with diesel? I don't know how we're going to make that work. Did you know most of the trains are run on diesel? A lot of it. Well, it's going to end up being $7, $8, $10 a gallon. That's just not going to work. So we're going to run up against the upper end of this thing. What's all this going to do? Well, it's going to crash a lot of markets. Markets don't just crash. There's winners and losers in it. And people that know what they're doing are taking their money out of these exposures as fast as they can. They got to have some place to put it. Well, the problem has been there hasn't been anything where you can make any money in a market anyway outside the stock market because the rates were so low. The returns were dismal. The same thing is going on now, but now the stock market's been infected by this. So we have this little pocket over here called commodities, which has been relatively stable and so much a quasi bear market for the last 40 years. That's now changed. So anything that anybody can get into commodity wise, as long as it's not paper, you're in good shape. So a lot of people are scrambling to find positions. Real estate's another one of those that you can count on. The Fed also bought a bunch of mortgage-backed securities. Basically, Fannie and Freddie were taking the applications and setting up the Fed. The Fed would cut them a check. Well, they're not going to be able to let a lot of these expire, so they're going to have to sell them. So if you're wondering where all these mortgages that you used to be able to buy went to, that's where they were, and now they got a whole bunch of them sitting there. So eventually, here within the next 12 months, these are going to start coming out on the market. That's going to change things. Not just the amount of money and the rates as far as mortgages are concerned, but being able to price real estate in those kind of markets. They've made if you thought 2008 was a bubble, you got to see what it is now. Comparison wise, it's ridiculous. And they don't have just a few banks doing this. This is a complete and total mess where the Fed is even infected. So the fiat system's not going to make it through that. But there are opportunities there coming up where you can buy some of these mortgage-backed securities. That would be considered real estate, and that would be considered a hard commodity. It's where we're going in a really rapid fashion. If you can get there, the better off you are. As we go through these things over the next several months and these number of these roundtables, we'll be able to break some of these things down, and then I'll be giving you some reference material as far as where I'm getting some of my briefings from. You can get access to and be able to follow along with the progress of some of these things that are going on from other sources and be able to come to your own conclusions. Actually, independent verification of the facts is the best way to go if you're going to make any kind of independent decisions regarding investing. That has not been the case lately. A lot of people are just throwing money at it, just throw money at it. That can't work anymore. So there's people like Jim Rickards. You got Stansberry Research. If you talk about videos, another individual that's on there, Darren Moore. He's basically a crypto world guy. Let's see here, Daniela Cambone. She used to be with Kitco. That's the outfit that did with precious metals. She's now the video specialist for Stansberry. She's out there at least 2 or 3 times a week here on YouTube with different videos from different experts. You need to be able to subscribe to as many of these as you can and just follow along and get the gist of things. And then see where you sit in this thing and what you can do to be able to move what you have into these positions and just buckle down. This is going to be a ride like anything that anybody's ever seen before. And we actually have some cutting edge stuff ourselves that we're going to be announcing as we go through here. Like Nate was saying, it doesn't cost you a single penny. We're good at that too. We seem to be able to find these kind of opportunities all over the place. Don't know why, we don't care as long as they work, right? So we're willing to turn some of this information over to you. You can take advantage of that too. So I'm looking forward to some of these different roundtables that we're getting together. We have a gentleman by the name of Robert Neighborn coming up. We basically have courses regarding real estate investing and how you can get your own funds put together. He managed to put a $70 million portfolio together in the last 18 months. Not bad, considering everything that's been going on. With that kind of numbers and this kind of a market, who says you can't do that? I'm not going to be one of those people. So we're going to be talking about a lot of this. We're going to kind of show you where it goes, where it comes from. We're going to have resources that we can give you guys, hopefully financially and everything else. We got Benson Juarez. We're privy. I'm telling you what, you're not going to find a better software program to move real estate through. And even today, he's got a little nibble where you can actually go out and get the money from the bank without ever having to buy the money from the bank. Little unknown thing that you can utilize to actually flip real estate with. So that may be considered another one of those not one penny deals. So I'm going to find out. We're going to ask him about that when he comes on too. He'll give us all the round table and the skinny on that. Other than that, just stay tuned.
Yeah,
Lots more coming down the road.
I guess guys besides Benson and Robert, we're also going to have a couple guys We're going to have a correspondent lender on, and we're going to explain how correspondent lenders work. They're almost white label. We've got a really good one, and they got some rural lending in certain states, about 10 states, and he's going to be a guest probably the next week. We've got another guy we got probably about 8 to 10 guests in the next 2 weeks just in the real estate space. That doesn't include our contacts, obviously, with Osmium and also in mining. We're still in our deal. We're still pursuing a large operation in California that is actually fully operational now. That has billions of dollars of strategic metals in it. But you guys don't understand. If you guys are watching this, the U.S. government, the Canadian government, the Australian government, they all have these. They all have a critical minerals and metals needs, and it's just whether it's going into battery metals or other things and especially because of Russia and Ukraine right now, we're gonna, you can take advantage of it. And this is a multi-billion dollar. It's going to be in the trillions of dollars. They need battery metals. They need the materials. Well, there's a list right now of 50 metals that President Trump and then President Biden both signed executive orders on. We're going to be pursuing that through our own company, and we'll be able to extend those opportunities to other people as well and help bring other people into these incredible opportunities. Everything we do is commodities. We're not doing anything on paper. Paper can vaporize. Paper can go in a Ponzi scheme. It can go in any kind of scam. It can go in bad news, whatever the stock market is. I mean, cool. Stocks are cool when you get the one stock from your grandmother at Christmas or graduation. Cool. I own a stock, a share or whatever. I actually owned some Enron stock at one time. And I sold out at $50 a share, and then like 2 months later, it was zero. So I got out at a good time.
Yeah, they have these paper derivatives that they have backing these different mortgages and different debt packages that Russia has. I wonder how that's going to work out.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's going to crash, people. And especially, we talked a little bit about Luna and Terra. There's some different names: Luna Classic, Luna 2, Luna 2.0. Basically, Do Kwon is going to go to prison. The South Korean government has put out summons for him and his staff, and he may lose 40 to $60 billion, which is Bernie Madoff level corruption. And unlike Bernie Madoff, where they're able to do clawback and they're able to go after the feeder funds, and they went after J.P. Morgan for $1 billion, and they were able to recover a lot of the money, real estate, the holdings of the Madoff family, things like that. They're not going to be able to recover any of this money. This is gone. So they're going to lose 40 to $60 billion. That doesn't also include Wonderland Time. And if you guys know about Wonderland Time, right now I encourage everybody to watch the Netflix series. It's called Trust No One: The Hunt for the Crypto King. It's about Joe Cotton. Joe Cotton was a young guy just out of college in Canada, 2010. By 2013, he had a lot of money and had a cryptocurrency called Quadriga CX. Well, go a little bit at a time. Quadriga CX collapses. He goes to India, dies of Crohn's disease. No one who dies of Crohn's disease, especially if you've got money. But he goes to India, and he likely got a fake death certificate, maybe even bought a body or something. Who knows? You can do that crap in India pretty easily. And all of a sudden, he disappeared with his keys and his passwords. A couple $100 million. His business partner is Michael Petrin, who is also known as Omar Petrin, who is also known as Omar Dehani. Omar Dehani laundered money for Shadow Crew. And in a few weeks, I'm going to try to get my friend Brett Johnson on. If you guys, go to YouTube, look at Brett Johnson. He's on the Concrete podcast. He's been on Matt Cox's podcast. He's a cyber crime expert because he did time in prison himself. He was the founder of Shadow Crew. Shadow Crew did a lot of stuff with credit card fraud, all kind, and they basically made it so criminals could trust each other. They had escrow services. If you're going to buy, credit cards, fake ones or whatever, Shadow Crew, if you remember that, you would, they would protect you. There was escrow. So it's like criminals protecting criminals or making sure there was trust between these scammers and stuff. And Brett Johnson was the godfather before the dark web. So he knows these people. So Michael Petrin basically shows up recently with Wonderland Time, another crypto that basically is just tanking right now. And so all this guy's a CFO. He shouldn't be a CFO of anything. He should be doing Madoff like time in prison. But this is his third time now he's done a crypto scam. And these are exit scams and rug pulls are billions of dollars now. So we want to get into a lot of that with our crypto intel playlist. So make sure you look at the crypto playlist Crypto Intel playlist. We also got Crypto Intel on Facebook and Reddit. So on Facebook, for everything you go, you got facebook.com/group/other people's money show. But there's also /crypto intel. You'll see that on Reddit as well. So definitely follow those. We ask everybody to like, share, and subscribe because we need, obviously, if you subscribe, we're able to do more and more, bring guests on, start bringing more content. And I want to bring you guys a lot of content. We're going to start bringing some of our membership in. We have some very experienced real estate people, some very experienced people in metals, osmium, things like that. We're going to be exploring even to the hemp and cannabis space. I'll be doing my first video with Sean this weekend. Sean's going to come on and talk about the hemp and cannabis industry. There's a lot of opportunity in hemp right now because there's hemp building materials. It's not just the CBD. It's not cannabis getting high. There's a lot of stuff with building materials. You can build hempcrete. You can build a house out of hemp now. You can do fiber for clothing. You can do all kinds of stuff, paper. We have the connection with the hemp mill, just like the cotton mill. We can, so we're going to be exploring that and introducing people to those opportunities to connect with our experts. Everything we do is a commodity. It's a physical asset. It's a tangible asset. It's not paper. Like right now, paper, you have gold, silver, you have osmium, you basically want to own things. If I can't hold it in my hand, put it in a safe, put it in a vault, it's not real. It can be wiped out. It can be gone. I can go to sleep and be broke in the morning. Nobody should find that acceptable anymore. So, like I said, we ask everybody to like, share, and subscribe. There's going to be a lot of upgrades. We're getting the new high-end 4K camera, things like that. So a lot of stuff's going to happen over the next couple of weeks and months. But we definitely ask everybody to like, share, and subscribe.
Well, we're looking forward to interacting with as many people as we possibly can to try to get them through this. This has never happened before, and it'll never happen again. So you can either go through it grudgingly, or you can sit down and actually ride it out and enjoy the ride. We prefer the upper part. We prefer to have as many people as possible go with us. It's just that simple. It's a matter of responsibility.
We're not going to just come out there for everybody watching, just come out there and be doom and gloom. We're going to be like, here's the solution. Here's how to actually get into this. And here's how to get in this at so you can get into Osmium for free. You can partner with us. Sign up, you take your 32 question test, pass your test, boom, you're in with us. We can teach you all about that. We can hook you up with the Osmium Institute, things like that. There's a whole lot of stuff going on that we have that we're going to be involved with our investment bank and our capital raise. And that's going to take, it'll probably be done by the end of the year, the end of 2022. We've been working on it for a couple of years. So things are going to be, so you're going to look for a couple of videos that'll be based on Private Money Holdings, our company. And we were going to be bringing some of our members and our people involved with on that to talk about what they do and their successes. Like I said, another person like we talked about earlier, Robert Newbern will be on Thursday. We're gonna have to do a deal with Sean on hemp and cannabis. We got a lot of experts in a lot of different areas. People are doing, they're not gurus out there with Lamborghinis or fake Lamborghinis. I told the story about how the guy and it was actually in Denver, by the way, who has the rented Lamborghini, acts like a guru, who's all over YouTube. Oh, I can do this, I can do this. The Lamborghinis from our place that rents them for like bachelor parties and stuff. The G5 jet next to it happens to belong to JetX at Centennial Airport. Coincidentally, the Denver Broncos jet is on the other side of that plane in that picture. And, Lambo, I had to be sure to go into the playlist and look at Lambo gurus, or YouTube gurus. It's like everybody, Lambo, it's a YouTube gurus, Lambos in his eyes. If you remember the Foreigner Jukebox Heroes lyrics. So with that, guys, a lot of stuff's going on economy-wise. Things are picking up, but there's a lot of change. The whole world has changed. A lot of stuff going on because of COVID, economics, things like that. So go a different direction, get into physical and tangible assets. Don't get into anything that's just going to disappear on paper, because it's going to disappear on paper. So and I'm going to be I'm going to be adding in these 5 to 10, 12-minute videos every day, completing the real estate stuff. So anyway, ask everybody to please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be doing these. Like I said, we'll be doing videos almost every day now. So you're gonna have a lot of content coming out. So you got anything else to close with, Kevin?
Nope. Just as he says, tag along, like, share, subscribe. The more the merrier.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna sign off now, people. So I look forward to seeing you on the fly. Talk to you later.